No, I was trying to, I'm listening to some goddamn Nate Dogg and shit on the beat. Maybe you got a UPK music to play?
No, I ain't got no UPK music.
Okay, we'll have to get on YouTube and download you some shit, because you can't be in this whole playing some damn thing.
I'm just putting something on for just now. I mean, all this being recorded, you know. I'm sure you're looking square at me.
Go ahead, get the class, bro.
All right, shalom, Lord of Christ. All right. Right, so this is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, starting 1 West 125th Street under Command of General YAHANNA. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to worry about that stuff. You know what I'm saying? We're not affiliated with any other Hebrew Israelite group. All right? You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get into it. You know, so our people, man, you know what I'm saying? We're you know what I'm saying? We're a different kind of people, man. You know, a special people unto the Lord. You know, the Most High considers us a special people, a very peculiar people, man, because, you know what I'm saying, even though, you know, at the time when the Lord gave us, you know what I'm saying, the laws and things like that, you know what I'm saying, you know, we weren't the greatest, you know what I'm saying, we weren't, in a sense, greatest in number, but we were the greatest people. You know what I'm saying? In a sense, like, we're just the strongest people, man. Like anything we do, you know what I'm saying? Like the scriptures say, you know, we're salt of the earth. You know what I'm saying? Give me Exodus 12 and 41.
Go.
You know what I'm saying? Unless, well, you had a precept.
Nah.
Oh. You know what I'm saying? So like the scriptures say, we're the salt of the earth, man. You know, everything we do, we, you know, we, what's the word? We, you know what I'm saying? We become the best at it. You know, you know, it's hard to really top a Black, Hispanic, or Native American. You know, just we're that type of people. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead and read that for me. Exodus 12 and 41.
Come on. The book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 41. And it came to pass at the end of the 430 years, even the selfsame day, it came to pass that all the host of the Lord went out from the land of Egypt.
So, right. So, host means army. You know what I'm saying? So, all the hosts, you know what I'm saying, the army of the Lord came out of Egypt. what I'm saying? We're a militant type of people. You know what I'm saying? You know, like we like to keep things in order. You know what I'm saying? Like another nation, they don't have to be in order. You know, they don't. You know, they like animals. You know what I'm saying? They're lawless. They don't have any rules. You know what I'm saying? That they could be, you know, like homosexuals or whatever. It doesn't matter. But as far as our people, we've had laws and rules and order and limitations to what we can do. You know what I'm saying? We're a very you know, organized people. We're very you know what I'm saying, we care about, you know what I'm saying, in a sense, you know, like we're made to be rulers.
Right.
You know, and what a ruler does is he organizes things, he puts things in order, you know, rank and order. Slide on down to verse 51 for me and read that.
Come. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 51. And it came to pass the self same day that the Lord did bring the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt by their armies.
Right. So, like how I said, you know what I'm saying? Actually, read that again for me one more time.
Come. The book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 51. And it came to pass the self same day that the Lord did bring the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt by their armies.
Right. So the Lord brought us out the land of Egypt by our armies, man. You know what I'm saying? By our companies and officers of men. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's how the Lord brought us out. You know what I'm saying? We weren't all, you know what I'm saying? I know we've all watched some cartoons and stuff, how, you know, we were just, you know, nobody carried any swords or anything. We were just looking like a bunch of homeless men. That's how the white man would portray us as a people. We were just some, you know, throwaway people. But it's not like that. You know what I'm saying? We're a group of warriors. We're a warrior type of people.
Right.
Give me Exodus 15:3. You know what I'm saying? We're a warrior type of people. You know, as I mean, you could see that really today. You know what I'm saying? Brothers who join the military, you know what I'm saying, they end up being the best. They go special forces, you know what I'm saying, Green Beret, Rangers, all that. You know what I'm saying, and dominate. And even our basketball players and football players, they dominate those. You know what I'm saying? Because football it's a warrior type of thing too.
Right. Simulated warfare.
Right. Exactly. That's a great way to put it. Simulated warfare. Because like, you know, football, it takes strategy. You know what I'm saying, to get the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Right. It takes strategy to get first down.
Right.
So it's, you know, and we dominate those areas. And look at boxing and mixed martial arts. We dominate those too. And that's straight up warrior type of sports. I mean, you know, two men go head to head and beat the living mess out of each other for 12, 13 rounds straight.
If I could, sir.
Go ahead.
I never seen an Arabian boxer.
Right. Exactly. I've never seen you know what I'm saying? Exactly. Even Asian boxing. I mean, they be boxing over there, but they never, you know, you put them in the ring with us. You know what I'm saying? Y'all seen how Mayweather whooped up that little Asian dude with the blonde hair?
Right.
He didn't last too long. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and read that.
Colin. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 15, verse 3. The Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name.
Right. So the Lord is a man of war. You know what I'm saying? And his people are the same way too. You know what I'm saying? Like, even this school, man, we're a war, you know, this school is a warrior type of school, man. We, you know, we're raising young men and women to be men and women. You know what I'm saying? Like, we put, even the scriptures say warlike apparel. Saying what we got on, this is warlike apparel, man. You know what I'm saying? We're not walking around in suits and ties and, you know what I'm saying, and Stacey Adams. You know, we walked around with boots, you know what I'm saying, beards and braids. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we're a warrior. Everything we do is about war, you know, because life is war.
Right.
You know, life is, you know, opposition. Even, you know, if you have a goal, you know, you're a goal setter, there's things you got to go to war with, you know what I'm saying, those steps to get to that goal or that thing you're trying to manifest in your life. You know, waking up is a war. You know what I'm saying? You got to hit the clock and fight yourself from going back to sleep.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's all a war. You know what I'm saying? So give me Numbers 31 and 14. No, actually 31 and 48. You know what I'm saying? Because there's always been rank and order. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, there's always been rank and order, man. You know, when them armies left Egypt, there was rank. You know what I'm saying? There had to be men put in charge, you know what I'm saying? Well, eventually to you know what I'm saying, to guide the people, you know what I'm saying, by the, you know what I'm saying, the highest ranking man, which would be Moses.
Right.
Well, actually it would be the Lord.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Then, you know, the Lord, he talks to Moses and Moses passes down the order. You know what I'm saying? So read that for me.
31:48.
Yeah, 31:48.
Come on. This is the book of Numbers, chapter 31, verse 48. And the officers which were over thousands of the host, the captains of thousands and captains of hundreds, came near unto Moses.
Right. So captains of hundreds and you know what I'm saying? Read that one more time for me.
Come. And the officers which were over thousands of the host, the captains of thousands and the captains of hundreds came near unto Moses.
Right. So captains of thousands and captains of hundreds came near to the commanding general, and then the commanding general, which was Moses, you know what I'm saying? He passed out orders, or he got corrected. I think that's what happened at this point in the story. The captains were about to get corrected. So, you know what I'm saying? That's how it goes. You know what I'm saying? Like for just a second ago, I got corrected. You know, don't play no Nate dog during class.
Right.
You know, it's a lock. Yeah, I ain't gonna do that no more. You know what I'm saying? That's how it goes, man. You know, a higher ranking man will call you. You know what I'm saying? And correction is good, man. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with being corrected or rebuked. There's nothing wrong with that. Because it's all in the spirit of brotherhood. It's all in the spirit of, you know what I'm saying, getting everybody on one accord and to do better. What's up? Oh, yeah, you might want to blow that thing out. You know what I'm saying? So, because that's on glass, you know what I'm saying? Right. So, you know, that's the spirit of brotherhood, man. You know, rank and order is brotherhood. You know, rank and order is exactly what it is. It's to bring about order. So you don't have, you know, certain men, you know, trying to overthrow, you know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be a certain way. You have to earn a certain, you know, a type of level, you know what I'm saying? And once you get to that level, you're given a rank, you know what I'm saying? It has to be earned, you know what I'm saying? And the Most High thought that, you know what I'm saying? Thought that, you know, Moses was worthy, you know, of his rank, you know what I'm saying? So Moses led it. Moses led, you know, Moses and his brother Aaron. You know what I'm saying? They led, you know what I'm saying, the army of Israel out of Egypt. So it was given, you know what I'm saying, the Lord gave that rank, you know what I'm saying? And eventually Moses, he was like, well, I need help. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a hand out rank. You know what I'm saying? Give me you already read that? Read that for me one more time.
Come. And the officers were over thousands of the host, the captains of thousands and captains of hundreds came near unto Moses.
Right. So okay, give me Deuteronomy 1:13. So, you know you know, the officers that were over the host, you know what I'm saying, they came near to Moses to get an order. You know what I'm saying? You know, whenever, you know what I'm saying, orders get passed down, you know what I'm saying? So that way they can, you know, get that order and go back to, you know what I'm saying, making things, you know, making sure that things are in order. All right, so go ahead and read 1 and 13 for me.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1, verse 13. Take you wise men and understanding and known among your tribes, and I will make them rulers over you.
Right. So, right, take the wise men from each of your tribe, and I will make them rulers over you. So, right, keep going.
Come, verse 14. And ye answered me and said, the thing which thou hast spoken is good for us to do. Verse 15.
Right, it was good for them to make rank and order.
Verse 15. So I took the chief of your tribes, wise men and known, and made them heads over you, captains over thousands, and captains over hundreds, and captains over fifties, and captains over tens, and officers among your tribes.
Right. So, you know what I'm saying? They took the wise men, you know what I'm saying, the strongest men, the wisest men, and they made them rulers over the people in different, you know what I'm saying? Some men got, you know what I'm saying, just the same way as it is in the UPK, man. Because, you know what I'm saying, everything we do is biblical. We have officers, you know what I'm saying, of 50. Well, we got the troopers, officers of 50, 500, 1,000, 5,000. And we go to captains, you know what I'm saying? Then they increase by thousands. And then, you know, then it goes to the generals. You know what I'm saying? Then there's, you know, all the way up to 13 shield general. So it you know, it's all rank and order. You know what I'm saying? And that's, you know, in a sense, that's you know, it's beautiful in a sense because no man can really, you know what I'm saying, just, you know, like cause you know what I'm saying, division in a sense, because there'll be things that'll be, you know what I'm saying, outside his rank to do. You know what I'm saying? Usually a brother or whatever wants to cause division, you know what I'm saying, that brother will be said in council. And if he isn't, you know, whatever he's doing isn't stopped, then eventually, you know, the Lord's going to take him out to school. So,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
And then like the rank and order is so important because it's the checks and balances of the authority that's been provided to us. You know, so that's why it's so important to have rank and order. Because if you just have authority, you can go around telling anybody what to do, you know, and then, you know, because you have that authority, they will actually do it. That's why there's rank and order. You know, you have to be given an order to give an order, you know.
Right. You can't do anything outside of the rank you've been given. You can't go, you know what I'm saying? You can't be a 50 and ordering around 5,000. It just is backwards. It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That also gives some for brothers who are, you know, really military minded to really, you know what I'm saying, to goal set or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You're a trooper. Maybe you aspire to go to 50, you know, 50 to 500, 500 to 1,000, so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? So that gives, you know, brothers to, you know, who want to rule, you know, that gives them you know, the aspiration and inspiration to really go ahead and gain that rank. You know what I'm saying? But there's nothing wrong with not wanting rank. There's nothing wrong with not wanting rank. You know, a brother does not have to gain rank if he doesn't want to. You know, nobody's gonna look at you different or anything. You know, if you don't want rank, you don't have to have rank. You know what I'm saying? All rank is a position. You know, a position that allows you to, in a sense, rule over the people and organize things. You know, if you want to be somebody who wants to organize, different aspects of the, you know what I'm saying, the army or the school or your nation, then gain rank. If not, then don't. You know what I'm saying? Simple as that.
If I could, so,
Go ahead.
like getting rank is powerful because you are responsible for men's lives.
Right.
You know, if you give someone an order, if they don't follow that order, men's lives are in danger. You know, you are putting people in danger if you do not follow orders. You know, that's why getting rank and taking orders is important.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And that's right. You know what I'm saying? You have to, you know what I'm saying? You have to learn to take orders too. You know what I'm saying? Learning to take orders will eventually get, you know what I'm saying? You'll be looking at the people who gave you orders, and you'll be learning, you know what I'm saying, the correct judgment and things. You know what I'm saying? You'll learn how to properly do things just by taking orders. That's why they say, you know, the best troopers tend to end up being the best officers, because they've been taking orders, and you know what I'm saying, they, you know what it is to be at the bottom. So you know what I'm saying, you know. All right, so give me First Chronicles 27:34. You know, so there's always been generals, you know what I'm saying? Not only was there officers and captains, there were generals too. You know what I'm saying? First Chronicles 27:34. So there's been there's been generals too in the Bible, man. You know what I'm saying? This Bible is about, you know what I'm saying, our records, you know what I'm saying, of, you know, who we are as a people. You know, how did we organize ourselves? You know, this records, man, it's all about wisdom. You know what I'm saying? On how to run a nation and how to build it. So, you know, generals and officers and captains and things like that, you know what I'm saying, brotherhood is what's really needed, man. Because like in our communities, there is no rank and order. You know, you can do whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? In the church, there is no rank and order. You know what I'm saying? You can do whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? You can come as you are. You know what I'm saying? So all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? All that stuff is nothing but chaos, man. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead and read that for me.
Come. The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 27, verse 34. And after Ahithophel was Jehoiada, the son of Ben-Aniah, and of Abiathar, and the general of the king's army was Joab.
Right. So the general of the king's army was Joab. You know what I'm saying? That's just, you know, one, you know, case of there being a general, you know, just in case, you know what I'm saying, people was like, well, there all this ranking and order is not true. Y'all not doing things by the Bible. There were no generals.
Right.
But there it go right there. You know what I'm saying? A brother named Joab was a general in the king's army. So give me Numbers 33:1. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Generals, you know what I'm saying, that they existed, man. They were, you know, rank and order is what keeps our people, you know what I'm saying, alive. You know, like how, you know, I.S.U.P.K brought out, you know what I'm saying, you over people's lives. You know what I'm saying? So being over people's lives, you got to know how to rule justly, you know what I'm saying, and righteously. Because if you don't, you know, if you end up doing the wrong thing, you know what I'm saying, it may cost a brother's life, you know, or a sister's life by having the wrong judgment, you know what I'm saying, by not knowing the scriptures, you know, by not following the order.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know, doing things unrighteously will get people killed. All right, so give me, go ahead and get that. 33:1.
Come. The book of Numbers, chapter 33, verse 1. These are the journeys of the children of Israel, which went forth out of the land of Egypt, with their armies under the hand of Moses and Aaron.
right, with their armies under the hand of Moses and Aaron, who were the generals at that time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the Lord, he gave Moses that authority. And he said, you know what I'm saying? I remember him saying to Moses, you know what I'm saying? Since, you know, you you don't want to go up to Pharaoh, how about your brother Aaron? You know what I'm saying? So Aaron was like, you know, in a sense, Moses's right-hand man. You know what I'm saying? You know, it was Moses and Aaron who were really the generals at that time. Then, of course, they had, you know, as we read before, the captains of thousands, then the officers of hundreds, and so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? Give me 1 Samuel 13, verse 14. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to show you something. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people think that, you know, King David, you know, he didn't work his way up or something. He was just, you know, he went from just a shepherd, a sheep herder to straight to a king. You know what I'm saying? That's all that Christianity stuff, you know what I'm saying? And the dumb cartoons, you know what I'm saying, that be brainwashing us as kids, man. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and read that for me.
Come on. The book of 1 Samuel, chapter 13, verse 14. But now thy kingdom shall not continue. The Lord has sought him a man after his own heart, and the Lord had commanded him to be captain over his people, because thou hast not kept that which the Lord commanded thee.
Right. So this was Saul, you know what I'm saying, not doing the right thing. So the Lord was like, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna get rid of you. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not doing, you ruling unrighteously. So I'm gonna raise up David, which is a captain. You know what I'm saying? David, who, you know, he was the son of Jesse. You know what I'm saying? He was a sheep herder. Then, you know, as a sheep herder, he brought down, you know what I'm saying, lions and bears that tried to get towards the sheep. You know, he wasn't over men at the time, but he was over sheep.
Right.
So he was, you know, he was over their lives. You know what I'm saying? He was over the little sheep's lives. He had to, you know, when one sheep would run away, you know, he had to go run after it, bring it back to the herd. Or, you know what I'm saying? When there was a lion or a bear, he had to go ahead and slay that lion or bear.
Right.
So he was over their little, you know, the little sheep's lives, and he had to take care of them. You know, so eventually, you know, things happen in a process.
Right. If I could, sir.
Go ahead.
Like him being over sheep, you know, that showed that he understood responsibility and he took it serious.
Right. That's exactly. That's a great observation. He took it serious enough. You know, somebody else might have been, well, I'm just a sheep herder. If one died, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? But he took it so serious.
He killed a bear and a lion.
He killed a bear and a lion. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really taking your job serious.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, David was really about, you know what I'm saying, whatever position he held, he wanted to keep and hold that position because he really cared about, you know what I'm saying, the things, you know what I'm saying, the lives he was over. You know what I'm saying, whether they be animals or, you know what I'm saying, men. You know what I'm saying? He cared about those lives. And, you know, like how the scripture said there, you know what I'm saying, he was a captain at that time. You know what I'm saying? So eventually he rose up. You know what I'm saying? After killing Goliath and such, you know, he rose up. You know what I'm saying? Salakia. Go ahead, give me 16 and 18 in the same book. Right. So, you know what I'm saying? That's how it starts out, man. Things happen in a process. You know, first you become like, you know, the same not analogy, but the same example. You know, first you're the sheep herder. You know, he started out just having 3 sheep. You know, then eventually he had a whole herd of sheep. Then he had to protect those sheep's lives. His job was on the line. You know what I mean? So he had to, you know, protect their lives. And eventually he got rose up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Eventually he killed Goliath. Then he got all them riches and treasures and Saul's daughter and everything. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, he just kept going up. You know what I'm saying? The Lord, you know what I'm saying? The scriptures say that he was a man after the Lord's heart. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? David was a man that changed easy, but changed in a positive way, in a righteous way. You know what I'm saying? He was a man after the Lord's heart. Go ahead and read that for me.
Come. The book of 1 Samuel, chapter 16, verse 18. Then answered one of the servants and said, Behold, I have seen a son of Jesse, the Bethlehemite, that is cunning in play, and a mighty valiant man,
Right.
and a man of war, and prudent in manners, and a comely person, and the Lord is with him.
Right. So the Lord was with David. You know what I'm saying? David was cunning in play. You know, David at that time, you know what I'm saying, probably Captain David, you know what I'm saying? He had, you know, he was cunning in play, which means he was good with his hands. You know what I'm saying? And he was a valiant warrior. I'm about to get the definition for that. You know what I'm saying? A valiant warrior, possessing or showing courage or determination. So he was a determined man. He had a lot of courage, and you know, and you can see that with the story and example we brought out. You know what I'm saying? Most, you know, especially today, most sheep herders, they probably just turn tail. They see a lion or a bear. You know what I'm saying? That's some scary stuff. You know what I'm saying? You come face to face with a lion or a bear. Not only that, but he slew Goliath. You know what I'm saying? So a giant stinking African. You know what I'm saying? So that's scary, a bone-eating African. So if they lost, they'd all have to go into slavery, you know what I'm saying, all over again, you know, if David had lost. But of course, David wasn't going to lose. You know what I'm saying? Because David really believed in the Lord.
And the Lord was with him.
Right, and the Lord was with him. You know what I'm saying? So I forgot what was my point. But you know what I'm saying? David, you know what I'm saying? There's a process, things happen in the process, man. Read that verse for me one more time.
Then answered one of the servants and said, Behold, I have seen a son of Jesse, the Bethlehemite, that is cunning and plain, and a mighty valiant man, and a man of war, and prudent in manners, and a comely person, and the Lord is with him.
Right. So he was, you know what I'm saying, a valiant man. He had a lot of courage. You know what I'm saying? He was good with the hands. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He could throw them hands. You know what I'm saying? He was prudent in matters. He was good with his money. You know what I'm saying? He was a comely person, which means he was just a good-looking young man.
Right, if I may say.
Go ahead.
What really stood out was he was a man of war.
Right.
And the Lord was with him. You know, like to be a man of war, it takes a lot of, you know, discipline, you know, because if you know how to kill, you know, you equipped with those skills of killing, you know, you're gonna want to test them out, or you know, it's gonna be hard to contain them skills, you know, because you built for war.
Right.
You know, you're not built to just walk down the street, hey, how you doing today? Chop it up with your friends. No, you're a killing machine, a man of war. That's what his heart was on, you know, and the Lord was with him, you know. So the Lord found favor to make him king of Israel.
Right.
You know, then a lot of people gotta stop thinking like it's all love, you know, it's all just get together, this affection feeling, you know, like sometimes you gotta fight. It gets tough, you know. You gotta get in the war spirit to, you know, get out of tough situations, especially this hell we living in. That's all.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? Most High in Christ, anytime. You know what I'm saying? Like how you brought out, you know what I'm saying? David was a man of war. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, we had said earlier, you know what I'm saying? Life is war.
Right.
And then David, you know, he was a man after the Lord's heart. And we read earlier, you know what I'm saying? The Lord is a man of war. So we all, you know what I'm saying? Most High in Christ for the I.S.U.P.K.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm out to be just like, you know what I'm saying? Just like David, just like Christ and the prophets before me, just like the Lord. You know You know, I aspire to be like those men, you know, because there are no men of war in these times,
Right.
you know, outside the UPK. The only men of war is under this banner. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, you know, because I ain't seen it. You know what I'm saying? If you've seen other men of war, I ain't seen it.
And then, and if they are like men of war, where they have a sense of war, you know what I'm saying? They use it for wickedness, you know, rob, steal for personal gains, or for their name, so they can have a name on the block or something.
Okay.
You know, feel like they somebody.
Okay.
I.S.U.P.K will guide your spirit to the right way. Will show you how to properly war. You know. So I want to say.
Right. You know, Most High in Christ. You know what I'm saying? You know, correction come from anywhere. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Corrected me. You know what I'm saying? There are men of war,
Right.
but they're not righteous men of war. You know what I'm saying? The only righteous men of war are under this banner. You know what I'm saying? So men outside the world, of course, you know, they're men of war, but they're doing it, you know, like how you said, they're doing it against their own people, like in the gangs, you know what I'm saying? Things like that, you know what I'm saying? They're real misguided, you know what I'm saying? They probably don't even care about the Lord. You know what I'm saying? They too, you know what I'm saying? You got thugs that believe in white Jesus. So, you know what I'm saying? It is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? So, right. So David, he was a man of war. You know what I'm saying? So, and he was cunning in play. All right. And what was that? 16, 18?
Go on.
All right. Give me Acts 13:22. You know what I'm saying? So after, you know what I'm saying, David, he just kept proving himself. You know what I'm saying? Just like how we are, you know, and things happen in the process, you know, you go from trooper, officer 50, saying 500, and so on and so forth. You keep proving yourself, you know, you keep coming to camp, you know what I'm saying? You keep doing the right things. You know what I'm saying? The Lord sees that. You know what I'm saying? Brothers see that. So eventually you get rose up because you've got a good spirit on you. Read that for me.
13:22.
Yeah, Acts 13:22.
Come on. This is the book of Acts, chapter 13, verse 22. And when he had removed him, he raised up unto them David to be their king, to whom also gave testimony, and said, I have found David the son of Jesse, a man after my own heart, which shall fulfill all my will.
Right. So, you know what I'm saying? They, you know, Saul, you know, he had to step to the side. You know what I'm saying? Because he wasn't doing things the way the Lord liked it.
Right.
So the Lord was like, well, I'm gonna raise up David because he keeps, you know, David keeps proving himself. You know what I'm saying? He keeps doing the right things. He keeps, and you know what I'm saying? David went through them tests, man. You know what I'm saying? And he kept proving himself every time. So the Lord was like, I'm a raise this man up to be king because it seems like this brother is gonna do my will. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna do what I say to do.
Right. If I could, so this is a perfect example of rank and order, because the Lord gave Saul an order.
Mm-hmm.
Saul didn't fulfill it properly.
Right.
You know, then he lost his rank because he didn't fulfill the order.
Right.
You know, he gave his rank to David, somebody who was going to do the orders down to the T. You know, do it perfect.
Right. Now I'm thinking of a scripture in my head that the Lord, he raises up the beggar. He raised, you know what I'm saying? He raises up, you know, men. And I think it's in Isaiah. I was gonna say 45:7, but that's not it. You know what I'm saying? I think it's in Isaiah though, that he raises up the beggar, or he lowered, you know what I'm saying? He can lower a prince, something like that. I'm paraphrasing, but that it's something like that. But the Lord, he does it. Right. So, you know, just like how you say, you know, he saw David was fit and the Lord gave him that rank. You know what I'm saying? Because the Lord knows who you truly are. You know, he knows your spirit. You know what I'm saying? Better than your own mama. You know what I'm saying? The Lord knows you, man, you know, through and through. That's why he knows. That's why when you get tested, he knows what tests that's gonna really, you know, get you, you know, because he's gonna send, you know what I'm saying, Satan after you. And you know, Satan, he's gonna look, you know, he's gonna scan you. I don't know how he does it, but I guess he scanned you like a video game or something, and then he just sees your weakness attributes. I don't know, you know what I'm saying, but that's how it happens, man. You know, Satan knows how to come and get you. You know what I'm saying? And Satan's just taking orders. So let me know if you ever find that scripture. I think it's in Isaiah. I think so. All right. So read that for me one more time. Acts 13:22.
Come. The book of Acts, chapter 13, verse 22. And when he had removed him, he raised up unto them David to be their king, to whom also he gave testimony and said, I have found David, the son of Jesse, a man after mine own heart, which shall fulfill all my will.
Right. So which shall fulfill all my will. A man who's gonna follow orders.
Right.
Basically, that's what that means. You know what I'm saying? When I tell you to do something, you do it. You know what I'm saying? That's following the order. You know, it's not do things, you know what I'm saying, you know, halfway. You know what I'm saying? Like Saul, you know what I'm saying? I remember a story, you know, Saul, they had went and you know, captured destroyed a village, and you know, the Lord has said, don't take, you know what I'm saying, anything from this village. So the people, they decided to keep the cattle and, you know what I'm saying, all the good, you know what I'm saying, sheep and all that, you know what I'm saying? But, and then when David questioned about it, he was like, see, I didn't take anything. Saul was like, I didn't take anything. But the people, see, it's the people's fault. They, you know what I'm saying, they decided to take the cattle and the sheep and things like that.
Right.
And then it was like, man, but you over these people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You over these people. You're the one who takes responsibility for these people. You know, you're not just an individual, you the king.
Right.
So if these people go and take, you know, these people you over, they go and take something that the Lord told them not to do, you know what I'm saying? Then, you know, you damned us all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's why the Lord was like, man, I shouldn't have even made Saul the king. The Lord repented. He was like, I shouldn't have even made you king, Saul. And that's one of the reasons why he rose up, you know what I'm saying, David to be king. You know, because like how I said, a man who will fulfill my will. All right. So give me Luke 9 and 14. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, armies and warfare, it's all throughout this book, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of people want to say that Christ didn't even have, you know what I'm saying? Christ didn't even have an army or, you know what I'm saying? Christ was just some softy, or he was just some soft white man with blue eyes. And, you know what I'm saying? He come and, you know what I'm saying, grab you and just make you feel good and stuff. That's, you know what I'm saying? But that's not Christ, man. Christ was, you know what I'm saying, a real nigga from the hood, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Christ, you know, wasn't no, you know what I'm saying? Christ was just like his father. You know what I'm saying? The scriptures say, if you've seen Christ, you've seen the Father, man. Because he's just like his daddy. You know what I'm saying? Just like your daddy. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like if I had a son, chances are he's gonna look just like me and act just like me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's just how it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know what I'm saying, just how the Lord has a favorite of everything. You know what I'm saying? His favorite was Christ. You know what I'm saying? And that's his son. So, you know what I'm saying? And the same way, we're sons of the power too. You know what I'm saying? We're princes of power. We're Yasharala. So we're going to be just like Christ. We're going to be just like the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Because we're going to have that same spirit in us to be warlike. You know what I'm saying? To be, you know, to be those type of people. You know what I'm saying? Because we're his people. We're the Lord's inheritance. Go ahead and read that for me.
Come. This is the book of Luke, chapter 9, verse 14. For there they were about 5,000 men. And he said to his disciples, make them sit down by fifties in a company.
Right. So make them see that he had about 5,000 men. And he said, make them sit down in a company. So read that for me.
A company is a military unit, typically consisting of 80 to 150 soldiers, and usually commanded by a major or a captain. Most companies are formed of 3 to 6 platoons, although the exact number may vary by country, unit, type, and structure.
Right. So basically, everybody was divided in hundreds. You know what I'm saying? That's rank and order, man. You know what I'm saying? That's order. Because Christ had the, you know what I'm saying? I guess you could say Christ was the general because, you know what I'm saying, he had his 12 disciples, you know what I'm saying, which would be, you know what I'm saying, the other star generals, you know what I'm saying? Then, you know what I'm saying, he told them to divide them in companies of men. So you know you're gonna need officers of 50 and hundreds and you know what I'm saying, 500s. You know what I'm saying? It's just, we do things biblically, you know what I'm saying? And he gave them an order and them brothers did it, man. You know what I'm saying? That might be, you know what I'm saying, one of us that decided to sit down, you know what I'm saying? Christ told to sit down. You know what I'm saying? Most High in Christ. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. Actually, read that for me one more time. I think there was something else in.
The book of Luke, chapter 9, verse 14. For they were about 5,000 men. And he said to his disciples, make them sit down by fifties in a company.
Right. So make them sit down by 50s in a company. Okay. All right. Yeah. So that's about right. All right. Give me Mark 6:39. All right. Right. Okay. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? 50s in the company, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like you running across the scripture and you learn something that you might have read, but you skipped over it somehow. You know what I'm saying? Spirit is there. Go ahead.
Come. This is Mark chapter 6, verse 39. And he commanded them to make all sit down by companies upon the green grass. Verse 40. And they sat down in ranks by hundreds and by fifties.
Right. So there it goes. Okay. By hundreds and fifties. All right. So good. All right. Give me Luke 19:21. So that was just another example. You know what I'm saying? Of course, one was in Luke and one was in Mark. You know what I'm saying? Both of these books, in a sense, are reports. You know what I'm saying? A report being given. So a report of the same thing they saw. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, this whole book, in a sense, is in a well, to be clear, you know, things are done in order. You know what I'm saying? When you put things in order, I want to say simplified, but it's easier to manage when things are put in order. Like if you order your room up, you know what I'm saying, you put your clock over there, you put your clothes in the closet, things look neater. It's more manageable. You know what I'm saying? You can get to what you want to get to easier because you'll know where it's at. Now, if you know what I'm saying, you go in your room and then you just, you know, when you change clothes, you just take off your clothes and throw it down on the floor. And you just got a big pile of clothes just sitting there in the corner. You're going to be like, well, dang, where did I put my favorite shirt? You know what I'm saying? It's going to be hard for you to find what you're looking for.
Like you create more work upon yourself.
Exactly. You putting more work on yourself. So things are hard to manage. They're very chaotic. You know what I'm saying? That's what putting things in order does.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Rank and order it shows brotherhood because we don't let all the weight go down on one brother. You know,
right.
We distribute the weight or the work evenly. You know, that's why rank and order is so important. You know, that's brotherhood.
Right. I mean, exactly. Because orders get passed down. You know what I'm saying? they don't just stay on one man and then he takes care of everything. Orders get passed down. You know what I'm saying? That's like, you know, that you have 30 brothers in the camp, but you have your camp leader teaching every class every day. That's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna tire that brother out because the camp leader has so much already on his plate. So he has to, you know, pass that order down. Look, I need you to do, you know, Tuesday class, or say, I need you to do, you know, Wednesday, and I need this brother to do Thursday. You know what I'm saying? And then this brother, he's going to teach with you Tuesday, and this brother here is going to teach with this brother Thursday. You know, it makes things easier.
Right.
You know, go ahead.
Another analogy, like say if you run the business and you got 30 members, but you doing all the work, you ordering the products, you know what I'm saying? You selling it, you have to register, you doing everything.
Right.
You know, but you still got to split the profit up evenly. You know, what kind of sense does that make? You
right.
know?
Right. You do 100% of the work.
Right.
But you get half the money.
Right. Small portion.
Right. You get a small portion. You know, the 99% goes to people who didn't do nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You want to order and rank is to make things manageable and easier for everybody.
Right.
You know, you know what I'm saying? Rank and order in the household too. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know, your man, your wife, and then the kids. You know what I'm saying? The kids aren't supposed to be giving out orders to the parents.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's how it is now. But, you know, when you put rank and order in your house, the kids have no authority. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, where we at? Luke 9, where were we at? Oh, 1921. Go ahead and get that.
1921?
Yeah.
Come on. The book of Luke, chapter 19, verse 21. For I feared thee, because thou art an austere man. Thou takest up that thou laidest not down, and reapest that thou did not sow.
Right. So go ahead and read what austere means.
Oh God. Austere, severe or strict in manner, attitude or appearance. Synonym: severe, stern, strict, harsh, unfeeling, stony,
right.
steely.
Okay, so Christ was a very strong brother. You know what I'm saying? They said, scripture say he had a face like lightning. You know what I'm saying? Not only his appearance was austere, his attitude was austere. You know what I'm saying? The way that brother was, he was just somebody, you know what I'm saying? You don't really mess with that brother. Like,
right.
You know, you don't test him like that. You know what I'm saying? Christ was austere, man. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? Like I'm saying, this whole class is to really, you know what I'm saying, guide brothers on how we should be, you know, how we're an army. That first half of class was to prove that we're an army. You know what I'm saying? We were military minded. You know what I'm saying? Now we're, you know what I'm saying, we ought to be Christ-like.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Lord is a man of war. You know what I'm saying? We got to be austere just like the Lord. You know what I'm saying? We got to be strict. I would say strict in manner, attitude, and appearance. You know what I'm saying? Put on this warlike apparel. That's the appearance right there. You know what I'm saying? That it's all because there's a spirit to this book. You know, and what I mean by spirit, I mean there's a way to do things. You know what I'm saying? There's a way to be. You know what I'm saying? It's a spirit. You know what I'm saying? There's a way to be. It's our culture. It's our heritage. So we dressed a certain way. You know what I'm saying? We didn't put on skinny jeans. You know what I'm saying? Put on the tightest, you know what I'm saying, coat you could put on. You know what I'm saying? There was a way we had to be. You know what I'm saying? There's a way we are. This is our culture, man. This is what we did as a people. So, you know what I'm saying? We put on that warlike apparel. You know what I'm saying? We were austere men. You know what I'm saying? We were strong men. You know what I'm saying? Because only austere and wise men had rank. We read that earlier. You know, so you know what I'm saying? Christ was austere, man. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with the brothers here. Give me Matthew 10 and 34. All right, if you could, thank you. You know what I'm saying? Because in the end, you know what I'm saying, as a people, you know what I'm saying, it's the same way. The same way how it was in Egypt, you know what I'm saying, the army of Israel, you know what I'm saying, uh, uh, moved out of Egypt, was led out of Egypt. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be that same way today. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be the scripture's probably gonna read the host, the army of Israel was led out of mystery Babylon. You know what I'm saying? Out of modern day Sodom and Gomorrah,
Right.
Egypt, which is called America. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be that same thing. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Because this school, man, we military minded. I'm saying the only way you can raise up a people is to be like that, is to be a military, militant kind of minded kind of way, to have rank and order, to set things, your household in order. That's the way, that's how you build a people up, a nation. So it's gonna be that same way. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and read that for me, Matthew 10:34.
The book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 34. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword.
Right. I came not to send peace, but a sword. Because when Christ comes back, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna be time to kill.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That grace period is gonna be over. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be your rent is due. You know what I'm saying? And the rent is, did you do the law, statutes, commandments? You know what I'm saying? If you didn't, then you got to go, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to die.
Right.
Because because you're not doing that, you're now, what I'm saying, against the Lord and his people. You know what I'm saying? Whether you be a coon Israelite, if you're a coon Israelite and you're not doing the law, statutes, commandments, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna have to go too, because the Lord says, you know what I'm saying, those, you know what I'm saying, who didn't want to do my Father's will, you know what I'm saying, bring them hither. You know what I'm saying, who didn't, want, you know what I'm saying, in the other nations, if they didn't want to be ruled under Christ, bring them hither, before me.
Like this, like I find it crazy how, you know what I'm saying, like Christians, they'll say, oh, it's impossible to live by all the laws of the Bible. When Christ came here and he done it. And then it's like they say, well, the laws are done away with. We can do this and we can do that now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like say your father tell you steal something, and your father, you know what I'm saying, corrects, you know what I'm saying, your neighbor. They're like, we about to file charges on you. You know what I'm saying? Here you go. This what he stole, here you go. And then son, I ain't mad at you, don't do that no more. And then you go out and steal again. Because he say he ain't mad, like, well, I ain't mad at you, son. Everybody make mistakes, just don't do that no more. You think he paid your debt so you can go and sin, like, go do it again, go out there and steal again?
Right.
Like, that's wild, man. Like,
yeah.
Christians really believe that they can sin, like they have a license to sin.
Right.
That's wild. With keeping the commandments is prep, like we getting prepped for the kingdom. This is how we're going to be living forever. It's going to be a perfect world. It ain't gonna be no drug dealers or sinners. No whores in heaven. In the kingdom, it's gonna be a perfect world. So if you thinking you're gonna be in heaven, how are you prepping for heaven? By you still doing the same thing. You still sinning, and you sinning. That's wild.
Right. I mean, no, that's a great point. You know what I'm saying? Like how you said, like your father, he got you out the mess, you know what I'm saying, you brought yourself in, and he's like, no, I ain't mad at you, but just don't do it again.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But then that same son, he goes back and does whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like how you said, it's the same way these Christians do it. Because really, You know what I'm saying? Really, at the time where it's time to pay, you know what I'm saying, their dues, you know what I'm saying? When Christ comes back, they're gonna be willing to change then.
Right.
Because now is, well, now I'm mad at you. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm mad at you now for you know, breaking all my laws and statutes. You know what I'm saying? Because you've had this whole time to get yourself right.
Right.
But then, you know, now when I'm mad, you know what I'm saying? That's how some people in the world be. You know, a brother might come up and try to mess with you or test you.
Right.
You know, and you try to just divert it. But the second you be mad, you see, now they want to stop.
Right.
Because you're mad and you're ready to do something.
Right.
Now. You gave them all the chances, but now as soon as it's time for that punishment, now they want to back off.
Right.
No, you ought to just get your ass whooped and take the punishment.
Right.
Because you know what I'm saying? You had all this time. I told you a million times to back up or leave me alone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or I gave you all this time to get yourself right. You know what I'm saying? With the laws, you know what I'm saying? The laws and statutes. Well, now it's the end. And now it's time to get your head cut off. You know what I'm saying?
So like I said, what was that story? When they went into the land, they slew. I forgot. I think it was the Persians. They slew them, but then they was not supposed to touch anything. And then
that one dude did it.
He did. He got a garment and he had got some gold or something. It was silver or gold.
Yeah, that's Joshua chapter 7.
Right. That's crazy. And then that was a very selfish thing for him to do, because like all of Israel got punished. Like we wasn't winning the next war because of one man, you know.
That's right.
See, like just off of somebody being selfish, one person being selfish can hinder a whole nation. You know what I'm saying? And if everyone thought like that, then that would be a great change. You know what I'm saying? Blacks, Native Indians, and Hispanics would start understanding the spirit behind what we do, why we out there to help them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And why is it so important to keep the laws and commandments? You know? I just want to bring that up.
You know what happened to that brother, right?
Right. Him and his whole family and his ass and his cattle died. You know, they got burnt.
Yeah, they stoned him to death and they threw him in the fire. And that's a high price to pay.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To get stoned to death and thrown into a fiery ditch, you know what I'm saying? Into a bonfire or whatever. You know what I'm it's best to just do the laws and commandments.
Right.
So you only gotta, go through that. You know what I'm saying? The test, we win in our war right here. You know what I'm saying? That time when Christ comes back, now it's just, you're gonna get all the powers and everything to slay a bunch of men. You know what I'm saying? To slay all the Edomites when Christ comes back. It's that time it's gonna be fun because nothing will hurt us. We just can go out and take on a tank or a company, a platoon of soldiers of Edomites, and it just be nothing to us.
Bomber jets.
Right. It's gonna be like playing Call of Duty or something.
Right.
It's gonna be so easy. But now we gotta fight through this period we're in right now of keeping the law, statutes, commandments, and doing our every fight of just keeping that. That way when Christ comes, you know what I'm saying, that is finally over. You know what I'm saying? All our hard work and what I'm saying, putting into the truth and doing what the Lord say to do, doing what these records say, you know what I'm saying, it's finally gonna pay off. Give me Revelations 19:11. So all that work is gonna eventually be paid off. You know what I'm saying? Faith without works is dead, man. You know what I'm saying? Things take an action. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and read that for me.
Go. The book of Revelations, chapter 19, verse 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doeth judge and make war.
Right, so that's Christ. Go ahead.
Verse 12. His eyes were as a flame of fire,
Right.
and on his right, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but himself.
Right. Keep going.
Verse 13. He was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name was called the Word of God.
Right. So this is Christ, man. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be doing so much killing. You know what I'm saying? You might have a, you know, by that time, you know, you might have a blue garment on. That mug's gonna be all red. You know what I'm saying? Christ, I'm saying he gonna come down with that white garment. And that whole mug gonna be in red because of just so much killing. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have to do. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people on this planet, a lot of wicked people, like billions. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not saying we're gonna kill off all the billion because we need slaves and such.
Somebody take the trash out.
Right, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you can't kill them all.
Right.
You know. So, but we gonna that's you know, 9 billion people on the planet. Still a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of kill streaks. You know what I'm saying? So give me Luke 19, 27. You know what I'm saying? So this is for all the coons and, you know what I'm saying, the other nations that, you know what I'm saying, that killed Christ, man. You know what I'm saying? This is for the Pharisees. You know what I'm saying? This is for, you know what I'm saying, the Romans. You know what I'm saying? Edom. You know what I'm saying? This is for all of them, man. Because go ahead and read it.
The book of Luke, chapter 19, verse 27. But those mine enemies, which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me.
Right. So all my enemies, you know what I'm saying, that did not want me to rule over them, you know what I'm saying, they're gonna be, you know, Christ's gonna be like, you know what I'm saying, he's gonna tell one of the elect, one of the brothers with a crown, you know what I'm saying, bring them over to me and slay them because they deserve it, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, they deserve to be slain. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because Christ had to give his life for us, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, people didn't, especially the Pharisees, man, they didn't, you know what I'm saying, they didn't even think, you know what I'm saying, Christ was the real Christ. And then those that did, you know what I'm saying, eventually, you know what I'm saying, you know, they rather have barbarers be free and put Christ, you know what I'm saying, to be slain on the cross. So they got to pay for all that, man. I'm saying all these nations really got to pay for everything, you know what I'm saying, they've done. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know what I'm saying, like I said, it's all righteous that happens. It's not a bad thing that these other nations go into slavery. I mean, we went through our slavery. You know what I'm saying? We messed up the law and 7 commandments. You know what I'm saying? There's a punishment for that. So we finishing out our punishment. You know what I'm saying? While it's time for their punishment to commence. You know what I'm saying? It's time for them to go ahead and do their punishment, which is to be a slave forever. You know what I'm saying? All nations under slavery, under Christ and the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Because all these nations really are our inheritance. You know what I'm saying? All these, you know, Edom that's supposed to be our possession. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying, they've had their chance of us being, you know, we're being their possessions. Now it's their turn. You know what I'm saying? All right, so give me Ezekiel 25 and 12. All right. I'm saying, because we are going to be there with Christ. Christ and them 200 million angels, man. You know what I'm saying? I remember, like, I had a conversation with my dad, and I showed him, you know what I'm saying, because he was always talking about UFOs and things like that. And I was like, man, Them the chariots, man. That's in the Bible. And then I showed them, you know what I'm saying, that Christ is coming back with 200 million angels.
Right.
And we be cracking jokes. He be cracking jokes about that shit all the time.
And if I may, sir, like, why would somebody need to come back with that many people? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's an honor. You know, so those are, if you coming with, if I say, I'm gonna be back, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to get my people. And like, we show up 30 deep, you know, we ain't just coming to shake hands and, you know, hey, how y'all doing? Let's link. Nah, we came, you know what I'm saying? We about to get popping. You know, that's what we came for. So that's showing that Christ is coming back to kill off the viruses of the earth. You know.
Right. Okay. Read Romans 9 and 17 here. I got it right. Yeah, read Romans 9:17.
The book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 17. For the scripture said unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth.
No, but that's why he's coming back with them 200 million. You know what I'm saying? Because you said, why is he coming back with that many?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's why. Just to show his power.
Flex.
You know what I'm saying? Just to flex on them. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. You know what I'm saying? That's how the Lord is, man. You know what I'm saying? It might take, you know, it really might just take, you know, 3 other angels, Christ and 3 other angels.
Right.
But the Lord's like, you know what I'm saying? Bring 200 million. You know what I'm saying? Bring 200 million just so they really know how strong I am.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's how it is, man. That's how the Lord is. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, but we're gonna be right there, you know what I'm saying, with Christ killing off people too. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and read that Ezekiel for me.
25.
Yeah, 25:12.
Come. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 25, verse 12. Thus saith the Lord God, because that Edom had dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance and had greatly offended and revenged himself upon them.
Right. So, you know what I'm saying? Edom, you know what I'm saying, took his vengeance, man. Edom, you know what I'm saying? The white man's always hated us.
Right.
So he always feels, you know what I'm saying, some type of way towards us. So he took his vengeance upon us. You know what I'm saying? He went to war with us. You know what I'm saying? Put us into slavery, man. You know what I'm saying? So keep going.
Come. Verse 13. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, I will also stretch out mine hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dean shall fall by the sword.
Right. So Africans and the white man, they gonna get destroyed. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Really, everybody just gonna get destroyed. But you know what I'm saying? Especially this white man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be left desolate and never be able to be built back up again. You know what I'm saying? This white man, he's gonna go into slavery. He's gonna do his punishment, and then he's gonna, you know what I'm saying, then we're gonna take them all up and burn them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because he's gonna try and go up against us one more time. Then that's when we just gonna be like, all right, we're just gonna take all of y'all and just burn y'all up. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. Where you at?
Verse 14. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord.
Right. So actually, read that one more time for me.
Come. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom,
right,
by the hand of my people Israel.
Right. So by the hand of my people Israel. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be up in this place, you know what I'm saying, killing up Edomites.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's war right there. You know what I'm saying? That's, you know what I'm saying, an army, you know what I'm saying, like how it says, we're a host. It's gonna be the same thing, man. It's gonna be the same thing how Egypt was. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be built back up again. You know what I'm saying? But this time we're gonna conquer our enemies. You know what I'm saying? And just instead of just, you know, getting out the city, like how we did, you know, getting out Egypt. This time we're gonna get out Egypt, then we're gonna, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna destroy Egypt.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna conquer our enemies and take them for possession. You know what I'm saying? Which really means slavery. So,
right.
you know what I'm saying? Give me let me actually give me Psalms 144 and 1. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We're, you know, we're gonna be right there, you know what I'm saying, with Christ. We're gonna have to, you know what I'm saying, take all of our enemies, put them into slavery, you know what I'm saying, and we're gonna rule over them. You know what I'm saying? That's really like, I mean, I know the scriptures say, you know what I'm saying, things haven't even entered into your heart of what the kingdom's gonna be like. But that right there, that's like, I mean, I don't even know a present even bigger than that one. People who put you into slavery for thousands of years, like, and you get to rule over them too.
Right.
That's like
good icing night. On top of the icing. That's
real
on top
talk.
Of the cake.
Right. That's with the cherry on top. Like, it's just wow. You know what I'm saying? So read that for me, and then that'd be our last scripture.
Come on. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 144, verse 1. Blessed be the Lord, my strength, which teacheth my hands to war and my fingers to fight.
Right. So blessed be, you know what I'm saying, the Lord, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That teaches my hands to war. You know what I'm saying? Because we've gone through, you know what I'm saying, an ample amount of warrior type scriptures, man. You know what I'm saying? Lord's a man of war. You know what I'm saying? And we're an army, you know what I'm saying? An army that's being raised up again. You know what I'm saying? In this society, you know, as one kingdom that goes down, you know what I'm saying, like America's starting to fall. There has to be a people that's rising up. You know what I'm saying? When one kingdom goes down, you know what I'm saying, that means somebody else is rising up. You know what I'm saying? And eventually all of these kingdoms, you know what I'm saying, is gonna fall. You know what I'm saying? Wall Street, you know what I'm saying, that economic bubble is gonna pop, you know what I'm saying? And all nations are gonna be brought down, man. And then Christ, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna be Mad Max everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Eventually Christ gonna come. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be tearing this place up. You know what I'm saying? And then there's gonna, you know, hopefully Yellowstone Park explode, you know what I'm saying, and destroy off half of America. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a good day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
All right. So with that, this is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started 1 West 125th Street under Commander General YAHANNA. You know what I'm saying? Not affiliated with any other Hebrew Israelite group. I'm gonna go ahead and pass the class to Trooper Ram. He's gonna read the security announcements. Shout out to all the brothers and sisters that came to class. You know what I'm saying? Also check out Just Laundry at Etsy.com, ETSY.com. And you know what I'm saying, order your laundry products, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm also Matazah, and you know what I'm saying, Officer Yeshaya right here, you know what I'm saying? All right. Go ahead, Ron, do your thing.
We are the I.S.U.P.K, started out on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 months period, brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Besides, which is a commandment out of the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 through 10. Means 10th in the Hebrew, Ma'ashara, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests. It's not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations is the Passover, the 14th day of the month, which is Saturday, April 20th at sundown. Comes out of the book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 1, 12, verse 1 through 51, Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 4 through 5, 1 Corinthians, chapter 5, verse 7 and 8, and 2 Chronicles, chapter 30, verse 17. If any brother has interest in the school to start wearing all black, shirt, pants, headband, scarf, and boots, and these are the security announcements.